The next startup to present is Green Shift Energy Private Limited.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Kunal Godambe, founder and managing director of Green Shift Energy Private Limited. So Green Shift Energy Private Limited is a clean tech company developing novel, innovative, deployable, scalable green technologies that convert different waste streams into valuable materials, energy carriers, and climate positive solutions. So the current problem which we are working with Smile and BMC is the disposal or the value generation from the urban green waste. So the current system of urban green waste, which is the tree prunings, the garden waste, horticulture residues, tender coconut waste, which has been generated across BMC. The current system is to collect, transport and dispose, which is a recurring cost and limited value. What the opportunity here is, the urban green waste can be utilized, can be processed to utilize the untapped resource which is there in the material, which can have the lost material value, lost revenue, and lost circularity. The linear model waste resources doesn't give us the revenue against the circular model. So why now? So there is a good push for the materials which are being developed from the recycled materials. Biomass or the resourceful material which has been generated across the cities can be used for these materials. Also, the biomass which has been generated or the waste which has been generated is increasing by each passing day. There is also a very good circular economy push from the different governments and also by the industries to reach the sustainability goals, ESG goals, to improve their ESG ratings, and of course the need for the circular resource security. So basically we want to there is a need to transform waste into valuable resources. The solution which we have been working, which has been deployed, which has been piloted with Smile is, we have a patented biomass densification technology. Densification is basically compacting any green waste. So what this technology does, it gives that resource, it compacts it, it makes it storable. We can transport it, and also we can give this resource a year-round supply opportunity. And it is converted into a clay form of thing, which is we call it bioclay. Wood-like materials can be made. It can be made into an energy products and also the molded products. So this is actually the process we follow. So the part you look at the right-hand side of your screen is the addition of solvent, anti-solvent, and filtration is where there is the innovation where we've got the patent. And the molding part, basically we can make any biomass into a form which can be molded into different products, which is not possible with the traditional technologies. So this technology is a fit to the solid waste management department and the garden tree department of the BMC. As I said, against the collect, transport, dispose, recurring cost, our approach is to collect, process locally, recover resources, generate value, and create a circular system. This is the pilot facility which is running currently at Bandra, where the garden waste from the H-pod is been processed. Though the photos, we took around 3 years to take this photo because we were developing the entire land, we converted into this facility, we got all the required compliances, and now the pilot is working. We have established a batch process to convert logs which can be used for energy purpose. So this technology, right from the lab, has come to the pilot level and has gradually is progressing to a national relevance, and now it will go to the continuous scale-up and then commercial deployment. So starting from the collaborations with Institute of Chemical Technology, BITS Milani, we have developed this technology. Then we got the support from the Department of Biotechnology under their big grant to develop the POC. We were granted the patent. Also, we got a Best Startup Award in 2023 for this innovation. Then we had this pilot where we have worked on the batch process, and we have successfully demonstrated the batch process. While working on this, we got a problem statement from at the national level where the biomass co-firing into the thermal power plants. So thermal power plants has mandated around 5% to 7% use of biomass into their thermal power plants. And as we can mold the biomass into different shapes, the exact requirement of that thermal power plants is around 2 to 6 mm, which is otherwise not possible with the current technologies. So while discussing this with the very key person who is operating these thermal power plants, they suggested this to us, and we were anyways developing this pilot, and so we applied for another Department of Biotechnology scheme, which is the CIBRI, which supports the small businesses. And there we are going to develop a continuous process to convert the intermediate material from the biomass to the 2 to 6 mm biomass spheres. So this gives the biomass which has been generated across the cities a decentralized model, and so basically a city level project or the waste can have a product which can go to the national level, and the pilot which actually started with the Smile BMC will be going to the national level with the support from the Department of Biotechnology. So in this slide, there are two parts. One is the business model for the current technology which we have developed, which is the biomass densification technology. So we basically will work on the licensing model where we license our technology. Pilot is already done, so we can work on the boot model, long-term operations, and also the sales of the materials which will be developed to the industries or the government, whatever is the case. Apart from the biomass densification technology, we are also working on different waste streams from the industries, from food processing waste, like the banana peel valorization, where we are making dietary fibers from banana peels, where dietary fiber is a industry-proven product. Same is the agri-residue valorization. We have another patent for our onion waste valorization, where we are converting that waste into materials. Silica recovery platform, where the rice husk ash from the industries has been, the silica from that has been recovered, and we are working with the industry to basically implement this technology at their factory. So as I said, we are open to technology licensing, boot opportunities, more pilots, commercial opportunities, product sales. As in every technology which we are developing has a definite product which is matching with the volume of the waste generated, and also the considering the increasing the volume of the waste which is going to be increasing. So basically, when we started with this biomass densification technology, we were thinking that we will not go into the energy domain, but the sheer volume of the waste which has been generated, I think energy is the only application which can match the generation of the waste. So who pays for the pilots or commercials is the municipal bodies, corporates. We are already working with them. Waste management companies, or the waste aggregators who are aggregating the waste and need novel technologies to develop different products from the waste they are aggregating. Entrepreneurs who have access to the waste, they have space, but they need technical know-how, and industrial partners, of course. So there is a large but focused opportunity here, starting with urban biomass management and scaling into India's circular economy, bioeconomy through decentralized, technology-enabled resource recovery. So the team consists of me, who works on the business strategy, overall working of the company. I have around 10 years of experience working in waste valorization technology. I have been consultant to different companies. Saurabh Patankar works with the with the R&D, and he also has worked with the similar domain at the lab level. So we basically has a multidisciplinary team which brings together expertise spanning biotechnology, process engineering, waste valorization. So the ask basically is to have strategic partners to take our, for us to have more problem statements, to have more opportunities to do the pilots and commercial deployments. The clients with waste challenges, as I said, rice as ash. So rice as ash is nothing new. It is an old problem, but we have developed something innovative for them, and that is why the things have gone ahead. Similarly, strategic investors, because waste management, clean tech, deep tech seems to be a very R&D heavy sector. So we need strategic partner investors to develop our own R&D and small pilots facility. So basically, we seek long-term partnerships to co-develop, deploy, and commercialize our circular economy solutions. Thank you. I'm ready for the questions.
So you mentioned about those substitute, those 2 to 6 mm, balls. So what is the cost? Is it similar? Like, will those PSUs transition to using yours?
Yes.
And what about the calorific value and all the other technical parameters? Will it match?
So calorific value for any biomass generally stays between 3,500 to 4,200. So currently we are using is a mixed waste. So it has around calorific value of 3,800, which is acceptable in the market. To answer the first question, the cost which right now due to the batch process is going high. We are already working on the developing, changing that into the continuous, where that will bring down the conversion cost to 2 rupees. So acceptable cost in the market for conversion is around 4 to 5 rupees. Only the conversion cost. Rest, the procurement of raw material, the delivery of the material, all add ups, and the current cost for the thermal power plant goes to around 18 to 20 rupees per kilo.
Thank you. So I want to understand what is it that you see apart from you looking at other problem statements. One problem statement that you can just replicate very quickly across the whole country, because the waste is across the country. Yes. So, that way your raw material is available all across. You said you have a unit, something that can be a, small footprint unit. So what is it? And then you also said BMC shed, whatever, approvals, compliances took you 1.5 years.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm talking about?
Yes.
If every shed where the corporation is going to gain is going to take 1.5 years, you are going to have a huge scale problem. So you have to use BMC or somewhere that you took 1.5 years, but ensure that everywhere in the country I'm accepted in single window, kind of clearance. So something like that is what I'm asking you.
Yeah, so the 1.5 years or the 2 years time was for the pilot, as this has been done for the first time. So things were difficult, and more or less the time was taken not on the technology front but on the implementation front. Now that we have all the data and everything regarding the technology and implementation, what are the bottlenecks, we have figured out everything, and that is where we are going to the continuous production as well. So such units in future will not take 1.5 years, but it will just take 3 to 4 months for the
My
implementation.
follow-on question,
Yeah.
and this applies to every startup in that sense. So we
Yeah.
don't have an ecosystem unless we solve things like this. So does BMC write a letter to Niti Aayog and say, this is what we have piloted, and please, and the Niti Aayog then sends a letter or gives you a letter of endorsement that go and contact, every corporation in the country and help them, reduce their waste or whatever. So are we looking at all such startups, frailing, trying everywhere and not scaling? Or are we looking at somebody who has piloted at least some, just like China, some companies go to scale? So do you see that happening or do you not see that happening?
Manish, can I answer this for him? Because they are very good with our experience with the startups that we have worked. They are very good in technology, very passionate, most of them. But then when it comes to selling and pitching and putting it before investors, they are not able to express this, and he is one of the best case for that. The 1.5 year that has been taken, I think when we took him into the incubation program, he had just tested in his college lab in a test tube. So it was not even done for 10 grams. The scale that he has set up, the pilot that we have provided, that is to the tune of 1 ton per day capacity. So the time which has taken, I think he has done multiple iterations in having the shredding quality. I think at least 10 iterations, which took about 5 to 6 months on the shredding quality. The first phase, like reducing the size. Then he has 5 stages in the entire process. And once that has been set up, I think he is setting up standards for every process for which, and of course his patented solvent and technology that he has. So checking and testing and then going back to the Goa lab and validating there. I think that is where I was just talking to Nileshi, like we need to set up the clean tech sandbox, and this is one of the project at the proposed clean tech sandbox plot, wherein we want to set up this kind of testing labs wherein they can come. And so all this 1.5 year has not gone in the bureaucratic process, but in setting up the various process standardization in the entire this thing. So this is actually like how the acronym of SMILE, Lab to Entrepreneurship. So I think from just testing 1 to 10 ml of sample size to 1 ton per day, going to that scale has taken 1.5 year.
No, so no, we understand that. So
And thank you, Manishi. Like as you said, yes, once they complete the process, we have not yet written to Niti Aayog any time, but I think we should write. We would be writing.
No, ma'am. So I will, before you speak, I have something for you also. Because you see, we keep,
Absolutely.
in India, we keep hearing about this thing, and this thing doesn't excite anyone. The 2 startups that came in front, these, the first 2 startups, the kind of research they have done, and we have seen enormous amount of amazing work being done. Thank you for setting up SMILE. I'm just asking you to do more. I'm just asking.
Definitely, I think BMC doesn't
ma'am,
have that.
just a second. Reliance has to come forward to say that 25 years it takes for some technology to develop or MRI scans to be perfected. Those entrepreneurs will probably get too tired during that, and that is the time a corporate has to take over. That is the time SMILE has to give way. You have done your job, Reliance has to take over, or Niti Aayog has to come in, and then we have created the roadmap for success for every entrepreneur feeling good about, doing these things.
no,
Sorry.
definitely. So before I ask you, I have to respond. So, definitely Reliance is always coming forward as far as startup ecosystem is concerned, and I think we also have our own accelerator. That's one. Second, while we were also discussing that whatever startups want to reach out to us from SMILE, they can always be and most welcome to be part of our accelerator. We can also discuss with them. Of course, I manage overall healthcare, so definitely I know some of them I already met as well in the past. So we can always re-engage and consider them and look how they can be part of our overall ecosystem, what's the fitment and all. So that's one. Definitely we will, as a corporate, will always be ahead of this and will always be on the forefront. Now, coming to your part, I mean, eventually when we looked at it and whatever ma'am said, of course, it has taken a while for you to reach from TRL 1 to 5, and now eventually still it is not into the commercial development stage. But assuming that everything is put in place, you are into your TRL 7, 8, whatever it takes to reach you to commercial development, all aspects of your requirements are covered. What does the commercial aspects look like? What is the minimum viable commercial deployment? What should it look like? What's the kind of capex per ton for your first project I'm talking about, the biomass densification? And then what's sort of insights into capex per EBITDA? What's the payback period? That's the capex per EBITDA we look at. So what would it look like? And second question to you is that as a startup, you are working on 5 different technologies together. Would that be a right strategy, or should you have a focus?
Yeah. So I will answer the last question first. So talking about the focus, so while developing the biomass densification technology, we had to take this hard decision whether we stick to one technology and we go ahead with that. But the whole point of starting this company was to solve different waste management problems, waste stream problems. We understand that this will be time taking, this will be R&D intensive, we need to have deep pockets for that as well, because in last year we actually invested in working on the bio side of, because this technology is more of a chemical based technology. We have also invested in the bio domain for around 1 year, hiring a different PhD student to see, not the student, PhD, to work on different technologies. We have successfully cracked through the bio-E3 policy two calls in that. So from the numbers point of view, or maybe the time point of view, sticking to one technology, developing the multiple models of that will have numbers, but the whole point of starting this entire, starting that entire thing was to address different waste streams. And that gives us the, that also improves our database and also the know-how to work across the different waste streams. So in case we get anything new, maybe in next 3 years, we would be ready with multiple data points for that. So that is the for the last question. Regarding the commercial plant, once the pilot is done, what we are targeting is around small plants of around 2 to 3 tons in the decentralized models in around 50 lakhs. And 50 lakhs, the payback period can be anything between 1 to 1.5 years, and which will depend on other factors as well. But that is what our target is, and the other target is to have the 2 rupees conversion cost. So these are the 3 parameters which we are working on, which we have successfully worked during this pilot. And as ma'am mentioned, maybe I was not able to express that, but the time taken during this pilot will be utilized in the next commercial plants, which will be not as much, because as I'm saying that the data of 50 lakhs or 2 rupees or all these parameters has come through this pilot. So we want such small models to work, because I have worked with as a consultant for big models, and I understood how tough it is to manage the waste. So technology and everything comes after this, but to manage the sheer volumes of waste is a problem. So decentralized models is the best to extract the value from it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One last comment. You should go back to RDIF, and I saw BIRAC. They recently got a lot of new capital, so they should be able to top up.
Yeah, thank you.